Hi, everyone. Stephanie Cook here with Jessica Hart, one of our amazing couples therapists at Counseling ATL. Today, I am interviewing you, Jessica. Thank you so much for your time.
Glad to
Um,
be here.
so happy to talk to you. But I just really want to ask you about something that comes up for a lot of
Mhm.
our couples. And the topic is trauma in their religious or faith background. When someone has had a really
Mm.
traumatic or difficult, negative, something painful has happened either at church or synagogue or a mosque, their place of worship, or with, a pastor or a person in power, or within their own family.
Mm.
But the intersection of especially trauma and faith and how you have helped couples kind of navigate that very sensitive topic. So if you don't mind, please
Mm.
just share with our listeners today, um, like how that comes up sometimes for couples and how you've helped them to work through it.
Yeah. This is such an important topic for couples. And if this has been an experience for people who've had some sort of trauma, especially with like their church base or in mosques or just whether it's with their pastor or just in general, I'm so sorry that you've gone through this because it is something that impacts not only individuals but also couples as well. And one of the biggest things is seeking help is so important with a person that understands both like the faith aspect of it, but also the science and the research, and recognizing how do we navigate around trauma? What does that even mean from a religious background? Um, what does that maybe when a traumatic event happens, their faith is shaken? Like, if like, do I even believe anymore? Like, what can I even be forgiven? What does that look like? And so if one person has gone through that traumatic event and is wrestling, the other person might be like, uh, I still believe, or you should pray about it, or having that. And so, what I help couples do is to be able to create that safe environment, be able to talk about that trauma, to really identify what are those belief systems that have been shattered. What does that mean for couples? How do we navigate around it? And so that's something that is so important for couples, especially if they've gone through a lot of trauma, is learning how to heal, learning how to process things together, learning how to just navigate around these kind of topics.
Thank you, Jess. That's very helpful. It sounds like really creating a safe place for them to have
Absolutely.
difficult
Hmm.
but necessary conversations is
Yes.
really important.
Hmm.
And even though I know you work with couples of all faith backgrounds, I know you are especially interested in working with Christian couples. I know that you identify as a Christian. Um, kind of a next question I might have for you is if you are working with a couple where one person has experienced some sort of, again, trauma, and it really has affected them personally, and maybe affected the relationship as well. Um, why might you want to work with them as a couple rather than just as an individual? Because I'm sure individual work is very, very helpful in these instances when someone's struggling with this. But uh, I know a lot of couples might wonder why couples therapy for that. Why might it actually benefit a couple, even if it's just been one person who's been
Yeah.
really traumatized or affected by a past experience?
Mhm. Great question right there, because when somebody goes through a significant traumatic event, they can feel really isolated. They can really feel lonely. They can feel like, I don't know if people can understand what I've gone through, especially with my significant other. And so it's so important for couples work to do is not only focus creating that safe environment for the individual, but also allowing the significant other to understand or to kind of experience that and to learn and to grow and to heal together. Because the person who's had to experience that trauma, they've got to be able to share their story. They've got to be able to feel comforted and to feel loved. And the other person who hasn't experienced the trauma, they won't be able to fully understand and to heal as a couple unless they're in the room as well and doing the growth and like being in the midst of that pain. And so that's why I love for couples therapy, for people to do couples therapy together, because it can be really rewarding. It can bring couples together and it can like make them stronger long term.
Thank you, Jess. That's really helpful to think of it that way as
Mhm.
not just something to help your partner heal, but also as a source of connection between the two of you.
Absolutely. Mhm.
There's an added
Yeah.
benefit to not just going and doing the counseling on your own, but
Mhm.
also having a place with your spouse or your partner
Yeah.
to help you to heal some past traumas together. So
And
thank you.
sometimes even going further here is the significant other, they may have no idea what questions to ask or even understand what happened, and so it's really helpful for them to be part as well of the healing journey.
No, that's really helpful to hear, Jess.
Mhm.
And so, if a couple is interested in working with you, especially around some past traumas that one or both have experienced, how should they begin something like couples therapy with you? What would you suggest they do if they're ready to begin talking about past traumas?
One of the best things to do is just to reach out and to schedule a phone consultation. Don't worry, it's free. I mean, just making sure it's going to be a great fit. But just being able to like maybe have a Zoom call or a virtual call and just to kind of get to know me a little bit more and to see and to ask any kind of questions. And so that's what the very first part is. Just schedule a phone consultation. Also, being able, you guys can email me at and kind of go from there. And I think our website is www.counselingatl.com/Jessica. So feel free to just schedule a phone consultation that way.
Great. And I encourage you to definitely book a free initial consultation with Jessica if you're ready to get started. Thank you so much, Jessica, for your time.
Thank you, Stephanie.